Now the bad part is when you're a parent and you're there with them all the time, you don't notice subtle changes as someone gets worse. You don't notice that they're retaining fluid. If you're not looking for it, you don't see it. But she was just holding on to her fluids in her body because her heart couldn't pump. So now it gets to a Sunday, about a week after we had first went in, and we said, well, let's ask the neighbor nurse. We went over there, she said, oh, she just looks bad. She looks gray, she looks limp. It's not right. You need to go to the emergency room, you need to find out what's going on.
And heart disease had ravaged my family. Never knew my maternal grandfather. He died at a very young age, 36, I do believe, of a massive heart attack. I had an aunt that I was very close to that died of a sudden heart attack. Uncle died of a sudden cardiac event. And then my sister, my baby sister, ended up having to have a triple bypass. Only symptom she had was that she was tired. That was all. Just very tired. She was 33 at the time. Had a triple bypass. That was in 2001.
We took her to St. Joe Med Center. They filled her full of fluids. And then next thing I know, I see one of the doctors from our practice come in and said, we are transporting her to the other hospital a mile away, and he could not look at me like this and say that she would live.
Last summer, on June 5th, my baby sister, who had the bypass surgery in 2001, died of a massive heart attack. She was my best friend, my confidant. We had an incredible bond, and I had talked to her the night before that night, and at like 11 o'clock that night, she died of a massive heart attack in her sleep.
And when you have congestive heart failure, it starts not being able to push in and out, and it goes less and less until finally it's just not pushing anything anymore, and the heart starts to damage itself, and that's why it enlarges.
Well, how does that affect everything you do now? Do you have to watch certain things?
Watch my salt intake. I can't do competitive sports. I can't weightlift. So I'm just basically a lazy teenager.
Karen, my sister Karen, that was her name, she would want me to shout it from the rooftops, let everybody know, especially women, because women their symptoms are so different than men. I mean, sure, there's some commonalities, chest pain, that sort of thing, but our symptoms are more subtle, and women tend to poo-poo, you know, I'm tired, well, I'm just stressed, I'm trying to do too much, that sort of thing, when in reality, they could be having a heart attack, or they could have heart disease, you know, and my sister is prime example of that. Really thought that she was stressed out and tired, and here, come to find out, she had been building plaque in her arteries, her cardiologist said, since she was probably 15 years old. It's important that women understand the symptoms and seek help, even if they feel like it's probably nothing, and hopefully it is nothing, but you're better off safe than sorry. Yeah, frankly, it is a matter of life and death, and women need to be empowered to take care of themselves, because if they don't take care of themselves, they can't take care of everybody else. We're constantly taking care of everybody else, and worrying about our kids, our grandkids, our spouses, our significant others, brothers, sisters. We worry about our work, and yet we so often don't take time to take care of ourselves.
Tell me a little bit about what you want to do after your schooling.
I want to become a nurse.
And why is that?
Because I've been around so many nurses in my life. I'm like, I want to become just like you. Share my story so they understand where I'm coming from.
Life is precious, and there's so many things that we have control over, by what we put in our mouths and how we move, and I mean, there's just so many things that we have the power to control, that it's important that we do everything that we can as women, as those people that are the caregivers and the nurturers that we are, to take every step humanly possible to make changes, little changes, and live every second full of joy and laughter. And part of that joy comes with taking care of yourself and making sure that you're healthy and happy.